Everybody. Today we are doing problem number 6 for Mac 1147, the Spring 2012 Exam 1A. So number 6 asked us to solve -6 all over x squared minus 2x minus x over 2 minus x equals to 2 over x. And so how to solve this is what we want to do is get everything under a common denominator. But first we're going to simplify it a little bit before we do that. So we're going to rewrite this. So it's -6 over, and then this x squared minus 2x. We can factor out an x from both of these terms. So that's what we're going to do. So we get x times x minus 2. And so then it's minus x over 2 minus x. And then we're going to bring this 2 over x over onto our left side. We're just going to subtract it over. So then it's minus 2 over x. So it's all equal to 0. And so what would make everything the most simple would be if our common denominator was just x times x minus 2. Because we already have an x here, we have a 2 minus x. And we can easily change this 2 minus x into an x minus 2 if we just distribute this negative sign onto it. So that's what we're going to do now. So it becomes -6 all over x times x minus 2. And then if we distribute this negative sign onto here, so then it becomes plus x over, so then it would be -2 plus x, which we can rewrite as x minus 2. And then minus 2 over x, and that's all equal to 0. And so the common denominator that we want is x times this x minus 2. So this term already has that common denominator. We don't have to worry about it. Now this term, we need to multiply it by x over x so that it has the common denominator of x times x minus 2. And then this term, we need to multiply it by x minus 2 over x minus 2 so it has the common denominator. Okay, and so now we're just going to distribute everything that we're multiplying together. So it turns into -6 over x times x minus 2 plus x squared over x times x minus 2 minus 2x minus 2 all over x times x minus 2 equal to 0. And so now we can write this all under one single denominator. And so it turns into -6 plus x squared minus 2 times x minus 2 all over x times x minus 2. Okay, and so now, and that again is all equal to 0. And so now we're just going to simplify the numerator a little bit. So it turns into -6 plus x squared. And then we can just distribute this -2 into our parentheses. So it becomes minus 2x plus 4 all over our common denominator, which is x times x minus 2, equal to 0. Okay, so we have this and we want to solve for x. And so whenever we have a fractional polynomial and it's equal to 0, all we have to worry about is the numerator being equal to 0. Because if this numerator is equal to 0, then we're going to have 0 over some number, and our whole function is going to be equal to 0 then, because 0 over anything is equal to 0. So we can kind of just forget about our numerator right now. And so we only have to solve, or excuse me, we can forget about our denominator right now, because we only have to solve for the numerator equal to 0. So then we have -6 plus x squared minus 2x plus 4 equal to 0. And we can simplify that a little bit. And so we can rewrite it as x squared minus 2x and then -6 plus 4, so minus 2 equal to 0. And so the only way to solve for x now is to use the quadratic formula. So our quadratic formula is x equals to -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And that is when this term right here, the coefficient of our x squared term is a, And then this negative 2 here is our b term. And this negative 2 is our c term. Okay, so now we just plug all those values into our quadratic formula. And so that gives us negative a negative 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 2 squared minus 4 times our a term, which is just 1, times our c term, which is negative 2. And then that's all over 2a, so it's just 2 times 1. Okay, so we can simplify this. So it's negative negative 2, which is just equal to positive 2. And then plus or minus the square root of negative 2 squared, which is just 4. And then we have minus this 4 times 1, which is just 4. 4 times negative 2, so negative 8. So negative, or minus a negative 8, which is just plus 8, all over 2 times 1, which is just 2. Okay, and so now we have 2 plus or minus the square root of 12 all over 2, which we can simplify because the square root of 12, if you can imagine the square root of 12 as being equal to the square root of 2 times 2 times 3, right? Because we have 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 3 is 12. And so then we can just bring these two 2's outside of our square root, and so it's equal to 2 square root of 3. So then this becomes 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 3 all over 2, and then all of our 2's cancel out. So what we're left with is 1 plus or minus the square root of 3, and then that is our final answer, and the only answer choice that gives us that is E. So E is our final answer for number 6.